Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Sunny, and this is my first video for my channel, Sunichi Reads. I wanted to start off with doing a current read and also an introduction to the types of books I like to read and the formats. I would like to start off by saying that I am very much a slow reader. And I also jump between different books. If I find a book does not interest me enough, I usually read to a certain extent. For like a novel, I usually read at least 50 pages to 100 pages, depending on the genre, before I DNF it. For mangas, manhwas, and webtoons, and those kind of books, it depends on, I don't know, it depends on how long it is. Sometimes I just lose interest because it goes on too long and nothing is happening, or the characters aren't moving me as much as I had initially enjoyed them. I would say that I love to read physical books, but I've also been getting really into ebooks as well. Let me start off with my physical books. I am currently reading The First Night with the Duke, which is a manhwa or a webtoon. It was actually on webtoons and then they physically published it, which I was really excited about, and I went to go buy it and just to reread it again. This is the seventh book, the last book, and it mainly contains the side stories. And I just really love the art. The webtoon is colored and they printed it in color, which is really nice. And I really like how they format it from a webtoon into like a sort of comic book style. So it's very enjoyable to read. And I feel like it doesn't deter me from reading it, if that makes sense. Like just the paneling and the way they do it works well, even though it was originally a webtoon. And webtoons are like, when you read it like on a phone, you scroll it and like you see like panel by panel, and then they basically just put those panels into this and they just created like a comic style. So yeah, so I've been slowly enjoying reading this, and it is my like second read through because I read this on the webtoon app already. It's been a nice slow read for me. My next physical book is let me jump to my manga. So I'm actually learning Japanese, and I bought this series Koreto wa Shinu Koto ni Shita. Colette Wants to Die. I bought this along like a while back already, and I just really like it because it's like a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and like really like I feel like it's sort of cozy. Her name is Colette, and she's an apothecary. And then this is Hades, the god of the underworld, who like judges where like the people who have passed away will go, and they basically meet each other, and their story just goes from there. And I really like how the story so far is just very like moving along as we learn about Colette and we learn about Hades and their character development and all the characters that they meet along the way, and a lot of them are Greek mythology gods and goddesses. Yeah, it's a really nice cozy read. It has been recently published in English, and I've been really tempted to buy it, but since I'm learning Japanese, I've been just reading it in Japanese because, I have it. So it's been a really great journey for me to read through the manga. And the art style is also like, I feel like it's kind of simple, but it's really pretty as well. And oh my gosh, the art for Hades is so, I like have a crush on him because he's such a good character to me. And I just love how his character develops after he meets Colette. Like, it's just so sweet. I will say there's like, I think there's about like 19 volumes and it's complete. And I bought all of them, including like the side story manga as well. I did read through, I think like all the way up to like volume 11. But then now like I'm slowly going back again from the beginning to like read it more carefully so I can understand like what's really going on. So that's been a really nice experience for me to gather more vocabulary, also making sure that I understand the dialogue between the characters. So yeah, so that's been an enjoyable read, and I'm also going slowly through this, but I'm almost actually done with volume 3, so I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to be jumping onto volume 4 soon. I think like it's been taking me about a month to read like one volume. So I feel like I've been progressing a lot in my Japanese learning because I'm mainly learning Japanese so that I can read manga in Japanese. So I'm currently reading The Raven Scholar. This book just came out last year. I got really excited to read it because some of the YouTubers that I watch highly recommended it. And I'm very much a fantasy reader. So a lot of the novels I tend to read in the genre of fantasy. And I recently started reading again, and so I've been really excited with all the books that have come out. So I'm giving the Raven Scholar a try, and my goal is to read about 20 pages a day if I can. And this book is chunky. It's about 600 pages, and I feel like I've been making good progress. I'm almost done already. I'm like on page 500 and something. It's definitely ramping up and getting really good. The Raven Scholar is about how there are different houses, and these houses are named after like animals. So like the Raven house and the Fox house, the Tiger house, and they all have their own beliefs and their own like sort of characteristics that they carry with them. They get to choose which house they want to join, but of course that's go through trials to be able to join that house. But in the middle of that is the emperor who reigns over them and also the country that they live in. And right now in this novel, they are going through a trial to determine who will be the next ruler of the country. There's been a lot of mysteries and twists and turns, and I feel like it was, you know how every fantasy is that like, because it's the first book, they have to build the world, they have to build up the houses, the characters, and just like sort of like lay out the land for us to understand better. And I really enjoy that. Like I enjoy slowly taking my time getting to understand the world and the characters. I feel like it hasn't been that difficult of a read for me to like see all these characters. Like I feel like the characters are all very much unique in their own ways and their personalities, that it's actually been really enjoyable for me to understand them and where their beliefs come from. So I feel like it has not been hard for me to read like 20 pages a day. And sometimes I will go over it. And maybe that's why I've been almost done already. Although it's taken me almost a month since I started at the beginning of May, and now it's like June. But it's been a good journey. And I feel like I'm kind of savoring a little bit as well, because I've heard that it's a series. So this is not the end. And I'm kind of like maybe delaying trying to finish it, because I'm worried that once it gets to the end, I'm going to have to like wait for the new book to come out. And that's going to be a while. I haven't checked when the next volume's going to come out yet, but I'm assuming it's not going to come out that soon yet. So this has been a really good read so far. And then I read ebooks as well. So this is my Box Go color. And the reason why I got the color is because I like to read webtoons on this. So the current webtoon I'm reading is, I probably haven't pulled it up, but it's My In-Laws Are Obsessed With Me. It's been interesting so far. The type of webtoons and manhwas as I like, if you're familiar with these titles, are very much you go back in time, you're reborn, reincarnated, you're taken to a different world, very much kind of fantasy related as well. So it stems out through my interest in these books that I do like fantasy, other worlds, even though like there are some familiar themes that happens. But I've also been trying to branch out to other genres. What I do when I'm trying to branch out is that I have Amazon's Kindle Unlimited subscription, and I also use the Libby app. So the Libby app is like the free public library in the US that you can borrow books digitally through your public library. So what I do is I would place holds on books where I'm like on a waiting list. And then whenever a book comes available, I would just read that book at a time. But because I can't wait in between, and I usually carry my e-reader with me, when I'm going out or when I'm just going about the house and I can't carry like my big book with me to read, because I kind of like to read in increments, even like a page or two when I'm like with my kids or something like that. Then I have it whipped out and I can just read a little bit and make progress slowly in my reading. So then I carry this around with me because it's really lightweight. I don't have to worry about, something thick being in the way for me. So what I do is I usually pick a book that's like in a totally different genre so that I don't get confused about reading in between. Right now I'm actually reading Slewfoot, which is a horror novel. I'm like about maybe 13% in. It's been a slow read for me because I've been trying to read The Raven Scholar more, and so it's been a little bit of a slower read for Slewfoot, but it's still like creepy. Like I'm only 13% of the way in and I feel really like creeped out already, just like the storytelling. And I'm also getting a little bit angry because there's a lot of misogyny at the beginning and it makes me really angry. Like I know it's because of the village that the character is living in. I just cannot like not get angry at what's going on. It really drives me to keep reading because I want to see what happens and how Slewfoot is involved in this. And like, I want to learn more about Abatha, who's the main protagonist, and how she gets involved with Slewfoot, who I believe is like this creature. Like they're still introducing Slewfoot into this story, and I'm getting really apprehensive about what's going on in the part that I'm at right now. Like I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just like no, like I'm just thinking in my head like what's gonna happen. I just feel like really bad for Abatha whenever things go well. And then bad things always happen. It's just been a really good read so far. And so like I anticipate every time I read it what's going to happen next. And so I'm really excited to see what happens. It's very creepy. And sometimes I hesitate to read it at nighttime because of that creepiness. Like just the description and stuff is so easy for me to imagine what's happening that I'm like, I don't know if I want to read this at nighttime. Like maybe I just need to read it during the morning time. So that's been a really good read right now. So yeah, so those are my current reads right now. If you're interested in the variety of books that I enjoy reading, please like and subscribe. I will see you next time when I talk more about the books that I'm reading or like recommendations that I have. So yeah, bye.